Hey guys, it's Upa here. So today we are going through zone merge, and yesterday you can see that we actually got a new zone merge. And this is something which many players don't really pay attention to or don't even know about at all. So this is an infinite Magicraid Discord, and every few months we'll get a zone merge. So the most recent one before this one was on June 4th, and yesterday on August 4th we have gotten a new zone merge. So what is this about? Well, first you need to identify what server you're on. So the easiest way to do this is go to your profile, go to your settings, click switch server, and then see what server your account is on. So you can see this account is on server 128, and because of that, you can now look at which zone you are in. So I'm in zone 9 over here, and it says from servers 124 to servers 135. So how does this work? So initially when you start your account, your zone will just match your server. You can see on the latest server, just server 165 on its own is its own zone, similarly until server 162. But eventually over time, players on your server may end up quitting the game or become less active, and the function of zone merge is so that there is a stable amount of players across each zone. So you can see generally the newer zones will have less servers. For example, zone 13 has 3 servers, and zone 9, which is the one I'm on, has about, seems like around 11 servers. I'm not really 12 servers, and so obviously usually the older zones will have more servers. But okay, so how does this matter for your account? If we go back to the game, almost every single event is dependent on your zone. So there are kind of 3 tiers in terms of ranking in this game, or rather the people you compete with. So first it's just individual servers, which is the most common for players at the start of the game. Then there's zones, and then there's division. So I think most players should be familiar with the division system, but zones actually is, in my opinion, more important. So with this update to the zone over here, it will show the people you are going to be competing with based on the server they are on. So in my instance, I'll be fighting with players from zone 124 to zone 135, or rather server 124 to server 135, and this affects the following areas of content. So first of all, classic arena and advanced arena, and more importantly, or maybe more commonly, all the various events that you are participating in. So this includes everything like trio match over here, or maybe if you can find other events, classic arena competition. All these small little events will always be fighting against people in your zone. And this is not necessarily a good thing. Oftentimes, people don't really look forward to zone mergers, because this means that the level of competition will be wider since you're fighting players across various zones. So for example, in my previous zone, I am consistently, getting anywhere between 1st to 3rd in classic and advanced arena. By the end, I usually end up 1st to 3rd. But with this zone merge, I will be fighting even more players, and some of these other servers do have some extremely strong players, which means that chances are I will no longer be able to maintain 1st to 3rd, or at least it'll be a lot harder to maintain without putting much effort into it. So this is just something to look out for. What you can do to prepare for this is look out for which strong players will be joining your zone, and you will see these changes come when the new season of the various events occur. So for some of your existing events, maybe if we find something like coming soon, when this Maris event starts, you may see some new names show up in the rankings. Any event which was already in progress when this zone merge happened will not be affected, but subsequent seasons of Arena, so next week, and subsequent events which may show up in the following days, will have this new pool of players competing with you. And yeah, so one thing you can prepare for this once again is look for players in those other servers which are very strong and may be a potential threat that you will have to compete with. And you can plan accordingly. Maybe that will require you to change your advanced arena and classic arena defenses. I'm not really sure. I mean, kind of depends on a case by case basis. But yeah, just letting you guys know that this is coming. And yeah, hopefully your guys' zones aren't affected and you guys will remain roughly the same rankings. But yeah, just one little update that they do once in a while that, in my opinion, is necessary but not something I really look forward to. Anyway, that's all we have for today, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.